Greetings and welcome to Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter and I'll be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts. You're watching this as a replay. I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunt Hangar Forum member to find the link to be a part of the live stream and the following after party. Here at Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunt Hangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. Now, if you're not a member or if you're not logged into Stunt Hangar Forum, the At the Bench link will not appear. Now, the At the Bench link is right below in memory of our friends. So if you don't see it below that, then you're not logged in or you're not a member. So if you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's stunthangar.com/SMF. That's Smart Men Flying. That's courtesy of Jeff Riley. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address or Sparky. The proprietor of Stunt Hangar will not approve you. Now, if you're inclined to not come in, even though you're approved and could come in, but you decide to just watch us on YouTube, wonderful. Fantastic. You can enter your questions or comments in the chat box right over here. I'll do my best to make your comments or questions a part of the show. And understand, sometimes I can't get a word in myself. So be patient because I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comments. And by the way, you only can make your comments or questions known during a live stream. So like I said earlier, I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, if you find the Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts that I host or the many building videos, contest coverage videos that Sparky does on this platform informative and enjoyable, please smash or touch or hit that thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Please subscribe, share, comments, all those things help the Stunt Hangar YouTube channel grow. Please also consider joining Stunt Hangar's YouTube channel memberships, which start at just $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. And by the way, I'm a member. I have the $4.99 come out of my own checking account. And not that I have to, I don't, but I believe in what we're doing and I see the value in it. And hopefully you see the value in it too. Now, if you don't want to do the monthly $4.99 a month, you can do the super chat. Or if you're watching a replay, the super chat is not available. You can do the super thanks, and you can donate any amount you feel you're inclined to. Hopefully, you donate inclined equivalent to what you're receiving in our show. Hopefully, you do receive a bunch because we have some talented people that have lots of experience, and you can build on the shoulder of these giants, so you can really help your modeling enjoyment. Now, your support helps offset some of the expenses of running Stunt Hangar. With your support, you receive special badges that Sparky and I can see in the YouTube chat box, and we really appreciate you being supporting patrons of our show. So please do that. Now, this is Sparky's YouTube channel, and I'm only in here twice a week. I don't check the comments, so if you want to get in touch with me, go to my YouTube channel, which is called Flying Control Line Stunt. Repeat that. That's Flying Control Line Stunt, and place your comment or question on the 2019 AMA National Championship video, which is a video that Sparky shot with his video camera of me flying his beautiful and light Junar XL. And if you do that, I'll receive a notification because that's my channel and I'll be able to respond to you quickly, as opposed to doing the DMs or the personal messages on the Stunt Hangar forum. I hardly go into the forum actually, so I go there to set the show up. But so it's best to reach me through my YouTube channel called Flying Control Line Stunt. Now I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support You are making it happen. Please keep the conversations family room friendly, excuse me. And don't use words or do things you wouldn't say or do around your own children or grandchildren. And without any further ado, I'm now actually I already posted the link. As a matter of fact, we have some people in the gallery here right now. Let me just welcome. I think Howard Rush came in first. Hey, Howard, thank you so much for coming in.
Hi.
That is just like a beautiful award. Let me see. Let me make it big. Wow, that looks really neat. Hang on
What's
one
that?
second. 1 second here. What's going on?
Show it to
See.
us.
You don't want to show it to us, Howard?
Well,
It's okay if you don't want to.
it's
Maybe the CD doesn't want anyone to see it prematurely.
it's not an award. It's an edge-lit sign of our club. Club
Oh,
logo.
cool.
And
Let's see it,
club,
Howard.
is your club RC and control line, or is it just a
No,
lifetime combat club?
it's mostly just old men who don't fly model airplanes. But the airplanes they don't fly are control line. See, it's you can see the logo there of the
A little bit. Yeah, I saw it. It was better earlier.
Watch
Without
this.
the reflection and glare.
Watch this. Watch this.
Let me watch this.
Yeah, I'm plugging it in, and there it is.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
The cool thing about this is it's in two colors, and let's see, you can see the edge there. You
Yeah.
see there's two slabs of acrylic, and one's lit with red LEDs, and the other with green LEDs. And what it looks like is there's two pieces, and one with the handle, and the other with the umbrella, and then there's common stuff. So the handles in the red lit slab, and the umbrellas in the green lit slab, and everything else is in both slabs.
I love it the way it's old school with the old red Easy Just hot rock handle there, Howard.
Well, of course.
Very cool. Is that kind of what you sent Sparky? That unfortunately the wires did not stay put.
Well, I'm getting better at it.
Very good. Well, that looks really sharp.
Something like, let's see, like this. Oops. There's a.
Oh, very cool.
Well, it's sort of cool. Yeah, it's hard to see, isn't it?
No, that looks good.
Oh,
that looks
looks
great.
good.
Wow.
Yeah. I made one for Mary Lou, and then one of her friends came by and said, "You got to make one for me." So that's for the friend.
How's Mary Lou's feeling?
Better.
Awesome.
Good. Hey, Howard, you came up in conversation this morning at breakfast with the old boys.
Oh,
We get together every Friday, a bunch of the ones from the old control line guys in the 70s. And I don't know if you remember Murray McDowell, but he remembers you vividly.
Oh.
And anyway, I was going through the calendar. He was going through the calendar and came across you. So he was asking about you, and I give him as much of an update as I can, politely. And anyway, it's nice, sparking memories for people. That calendar is a wonderful thing, and having you in that. So it's pretty cool.
Very cool. Well, thank you, Bob, for coming in. I appreciate it very much. And what you been up to, Bob? You've been well, I guess is it warm like 10 degrees?
It's sort of warmed up a little bit. We're down to typically around about 20 below Celsius, so about -4 Fahrenheit or something like that. Last night, though, we had a bit of an inversion when I was up flying with a student. Weather was forecast to be crappy, but it turned nice, so I took him up for his first night flying lesson, and you couldn't ask for a better night. And it was about -14 up there, which should be probably about, 2 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that. And crystal clear. It was a beautiful night. And he's a young fellow that's really got a lot of talent, wanting to go for his commercial license. This is what I'm teaching him. And I think he's going to go a long ways. He's got a lot of natural talent. Such a joy flying with someone like that. After the ground briefing on landing at night for the first time, he nailed it. Just bang on. you could only ask for a slightly better landing. It was really good. So
Wow.
it was just an absolute pleasurable night.
Well, that's good. I'm happy about happy landings.
Yeah, well, any landing is good if the airplane's still usable afterwards.
I was told if the door opens.
I just thought if you could walk away from it.
That's
No,
what I was
then-
told.
then
Any
the
landing is a
insurance
good landing.
gets
Walk away
involved,
from.
Danny,
Ah.
if it's only if you can walk away from it, the damned insurance gets involved for it and you pay for it for 5 years.
Ah.
Okay, you got us, Bob.
That's
I think I
great.
showed you that the door opening. I think I showed you guys that that little clip about it at the end of, when I was leaving last on Monday night there.
Yeah. The duct tape.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh, that was funny. That was good. I see in the chat box we have Gary Sinclair, who's also a member of our YouTube channel. I can tell by the moniker next to his name. He said, like provided, and hi, everyone. And he's also a monitor. He has that blue wrench. We have other monitors too. I know Greg Biswick is a monitor as
I'm
well.
going to interrupt right here, Charles. Gary, thank you very much. I got my calendar on Tuesday. It's wonderful. I didn't expect the extra copy. Paul Jabot is very thankful for it. And it was well received. Showed it at the breakfast meeting. Everyone was drooling over all the airplanes and people.
Yeah,
so thank you.
That was good. Oh, that was funny. Uh-oh. Here we go. Thank you, whoever took care of that looping. Thank you. And then Marcel Legrand says, hi, Charles and everyone at Stunt School. Love that. And then Dennis Adamison, who's a member of our YouTube channel. He gave us a like. Thank you, Dennis. And he's here with us. And then Philip Bailey also gave us a like. And he's here with us as well. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Appreciate that. I think the
I better
next
get a like too. There it is.
You gave us a like too?
Yep.
All right, smash that like button. We have
how do you bloody do it?
You have to have like an
Oh, Lord, we got
phone or
another
another tab to do it.
Oh,
And you have to
I just
go on-
watch it on YouTube at the same time, so I get a big screen, although it's a bit delayed, and
Yeah.
just click on that.
Right.
well, I'm going to mute my.
All right, thank you, Ed. That'd great. That'd be fantastic. So we have 18 concurrent viewers right now, and only have half the likes. Only have 9 likes. So please, if you've been with us these 12 minutes, you haven't gone away, please give us a like button. And now we're
Oh
up to
God, you
10.
let Mark Weiss in. Now he's going to guilt us into something or other.
No, he's not. I doubt it. Let me see here. So, and then we have Gary Sinclair. He says he's having trouble getting in. He's going to go ahead and reboot. So we look forward to seeing you, Gary. Thank you for being persistent. I believe next on the mount was Dennis Adamison. How you doing, Dennis?
Real good, real good. Had a just got back from my son's grandson's basketball game.
All right.
Yeah, 29-4. Not one of their better days. Let it go with that. So,
But did he say one? Oh, did they lose?
They did not win. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I couldn't
just
believe
assumed-
it. I mean, they were down like I've never seen this before. They were down 23-0 at halftime.
Well, they came back.
Yeah. Well, my grandson had 50%. He had 50% of his team's points. So
Very
it was
good.
just how in the world do those things happen? You know?
Yeah.
But they all seem to be
Did he
taking
get
it in
best
stride.
player award then? If he got 50%
No,
of the
that
points,
went
did he
to
get best
somebody
player?
on the other team. But anyhow.
Oh, too bad.
So yeah, we had a 5-inch snowstorm last night and got most of it cleaned up today. And I don't know, life in the Midwest in the wintertime, not nearly as exciting as Bob, but we were into the 20s. So I mean, it was almost Hawaiian shirt weather. But
Yeah, even if you live someplace that's a little that's occasionally 10 below, you really should drain the pipes in the external walls of your garage. This is a little tip from the Jive Combat Team. A little cold tip.
All right.
Well,
I'm,
sounded
just
like
I'm
experience
concentrating on draining this pipe right here. But that's about all I have in mind right now. So
There's water pouring out of the garage. Something wrong. Oh, yes, there was.
Danny, if you're in the Great White North today, it got up to about 16, 18 below Celsius.
It
Yeah,
got
So
up
the
to that.
parkas were unzipped. It was getting absolutely warm.
I can't even comprehend being any place that cold. All right. So, or
Yeah,
on
me
a
either.
sustained period. I mean, like Howard says, we occasionally get cold around here and stuff like that, but it's pretty rare. So,
Well, when it gets this warm, you go to the grocery store without your parka, so you don't have to carry it around.
yeah, that's it. Well, I'm used to,
He is
here
seriously
in the
crazy.
Midwest, especially in the springtime or, later winter and stuff, you can wear a parka and gym shorts at the same time. And in your car, you could run the heater and AC the same day. All right. So,
Yeah. Well, the other day when I was driving along, there was a guy, one of my sort of neighbors a few blocks over, was out shoveling his walks, and he had a t-shirt, he had a hoodie on and shorts, and it was about 35 below.
that's it.
Holy mackerel.
I do have a quick question for Ed Waskey, and I don't know, Ed, sent, okay, I'll wait. At any rate,
Working on that like for us.
But other than that,
That's what I'm working on.
all I was just gonna, okay. And I have an apology to Mark. I missed our Zoom meeting on Tuesday. You can believe it. We had a sick cat at the vet hospital. Honest to God, we were there for 5.5 hours with this cat. All right.
Wow.
Good on you, Denny. We've done that.
Man, I was anticipating a different outcome, shall we say? But she's back. She's back home, and
$1,000 less.
she's down to her last life. Let's just put it that way. All right.
We went through that thing with two of ours.
This proves that people will do anything not to attend one of my meetings.
In this case, it was the act of a sympathetic kitty. All right. Says, I'll protect you. Okay.
I'm back.
All right.
I was just going to ask if you got my note and whether you had a chance to look into that at all. That's all.
Yes, I did, and talked with Walter late this afternoon.
Oh, good.
And he said, go right ahead and do what you want to do as far as making the plans, and he wants nothing for it. So I offered to get some donation, $5-10 per plan and send it to him, but he said no, just go ahead and take care of it. You already bought the plan, so go ahead. So appreciate the help with that.
Did he sound like he's doing any better?
Spitfire or what, Ed?
That was to copy the Seafire or rabies plans.
Wow, I'm right on board with that.
You have rabies plans too?
I think I've got the P51 and the Sea Fury I bought off of eBay, but I haven't really inspected it just to see how much is there and if the plans are in good shape.
Well, I
have the Sea Fury plans because I've got the full kit. Now, it doesn't have the templates drawn out on that, but I'm going to do that anyway before I build it. And if anyone's interested on that end of it, I could certainly expedite that.
Okay, I appreciate that. When you in this hobby, oops, I just cut myself. In this hobby, Dave Platt had something to say that kind of stuck with me. A known radio control line, free flight guy for scale, and he said, in this hobby, if you can purchase something, you better do it while it's available.
Yeah.
And hold on to it. So, and that's what I try to do. I have a big wish list, but how much time do you really have?
So I was planning on drawing out the templates anyway.
Okay.
Because someday I might need repairs. So I'll do that. And I'll also have the plans. I was going to have them copied anyway from local printer. And as far as I know, they should be able to kind of reverse it when they run the plans through. They should be able to pull off a PDF or something of what they imaged.
I'll ask that.
It will.
Walter told me to make sure that there's no distortion, so that it's a good copy.
Right. And
So
I'll
you know
make
you
sure
can hold them up with a strong
for my
light.
own purposes. Yeah. And the local copy shop that I used with one of Ted's plans there for his what the heck was it, the larger profile with the radial engine mount.
Intimidation.
Yeah.
Intimidation.
Anyway, off of Outer Zone, it actually only comes through as an 8.5 by 11 PDF. And the local copy shop, they just scaled it up with me at no extra cost, using spinner and wheel size known parameters, and brought it up to a proper spec and printed it out. So I can get some pretty good service out of here. So
Wow.
I expect I should be able to reverse engineering it to a PDF that's accurate.
Oh, that'd be great.
I'd love to have a set of those when you get them. And if you need a set of Bearcats, I've got those.
Oh, great.
Great.
BQB,
And
BBQB and the classic.
Al's original Mustang, I have the plans of that on Blueprint.
Yeah.
All
Oh,
right.
wow.
It's 1968, I think it was.
Yeah.
Wow. While we're on the subject of the Seafire, Charles,
Let me make it
Oh
big
my
here.
goodness.
that was last week. I talked about the guy who selling this, used to sell this book, but now it's digital.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, wow.
just to give you an idea,
Oh
Wow.
my goodness.
I looked that up. I'm going to absolutely buy that.
Wow,
It's
man.
amazing.
Yeah, you should be able to
that's
make a
another one of
really,
those things where bought it while it was available.
yeah, you could do a really good job of
And
making scale plane.
And I talked with Paul on the phone about it, and he said you can also, if you want the prints of the aircraft, you can buy one of just an electronic portion of it, and then just be able to print it yourself. So
Very
Ed,
neat.
you know the American connection on the Mark 9 and Mark 16 Spitfire, which are very similar.
no, the only thing, no, I don't.
It's the engine. They run backwards. They're actually Packard Merlins on them.
I know
So
they're both Merlins.
Yeah, but they're the reverse rotation to the British.
So
They
the
run
Mark 9s were made
counterclockwise.
were powered with Packards. I did not know that. So
Yeah,
pretty
the
neat.
props all turn backwards on the Mark 9s and the Mark 16. They're very similar airframes in a lot of ways, just updated.
Well, yeah, the 16 was a Mark 9 converted. And,
Yeah.
And now on the Merlin, I do know because my buddy owns a P-51. You have to watch the magnetos between the Merlin and the Packard. The top dead center is like 180 degrees out if you use an American mag versus a British mag.
Right, and that would be related to the Packard versus the Rolls-Royce Merlin.
yeah, the reverse rotation would do that, wouldn't it? So
yeah, absolutely. If you watch the old Windy videos when he did the Texas tour, and CNL and the guy with the Spitfire and all that, and Rutherford. Anyway, was all shocked because he thought that all the Spitfires ran counterclockwise, or ran clockwise, depending on which way you look at it, from the front clockwise. And Windy just wasn't aware that they had reverse rotation cranks. They were Packards.
Cracks me up.
It was a Mark 9 he was looking at.
And if you worked on a Spitfire, you got to have Spitfire wrenches.
Yep. Yeah,
special wrenches.
Yep. A lot of them.
All right, I'll bite. Why do you have to have special wrenches? I know there's SAE, and there's metric, and there's Whitworth.
And then there's
Whitworth, and they were
the
specialized.
Spitfire had their own size.
No, well, they were Whitworth sizes, but they were housed to fit into the crannies of a Merlin engine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's kind of like Harley Davidson wrenches, where you have your half moon wrenches for torque and the cylinder bases, and you calculate the offset for it for the torque and all that. It was very similar.
Familiar with those too.
Does anybody know where you can get a set?
Oh, over in the UK.
I know a guy that might actually want to set. He lives just half an hour from me. Maybe not even that. He bought a Spitfire. He bought a whole bunch of planes, old planes, and then brought them. He brought them to this area, our area, put them in a hangar. So
what I'd
that's
suggest is contact the restoration companies in England and see about getting the wrenches because they're
yeah, I'm just kidding.
Probably reproduced.
I'm just kidding about him, but it's like he brought I forget what he got. Southwest Camel, I think, and I don't know. He's got like 4 or 5 of them. He's just brought in the last few years. So
Okay, so he brought them in from New Zealand, probably.
I'm not sure where he got them, but
because there's that reproduction company in New Zealand that actually builds certified rotary engines. I mean, they're only good for 50 or 100 hours, but they build these reproductions per the original drawings, and they're actually certified to New Zealand. And if you look it up on their First World War museum flight there, it's absolutely fascinating what they do.
Interesting. So I hope to see these planes this summer. Go over to the airport.
We should corner Jonathan about that or Daryl and get them good, maybe doing a feature on Stunt Hangar some night on them.
Yeah. I'm hoping they'll have an open house so we can go and I know the fellow that owns them. I don't know him well, but I know their family a bit.
Wow. That'd be great. What airport are they at, Stuart?
Chatham.
Oh, at Chatham? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What?
Let me say hi to Sparky. Hey, Sparky, how's it going?
He's muted.
It's going.
Yeah, it looks like it is going. Look at that planes coming together.
Well, I'll have it all together by Monday. I got all the parts made. It don't take long on a beam wing airplane.
No. Truth.
Just a
some of those little jigging details you did this morning there, Sparky, were really nice. About tweaking the fuselage ahead in those jigs to align the spar and stuff. That was good stuff.
Yeah, everything's got to be perfect, if you want a good flying airplane.
Yep.
And I went around and I drew a center line on the leading edge, and it's 1.5 inches off the deck, and trailing edge 1.5 inches off the deck, and spar is 1.5 inches to the center, so all the way around is 1.5 inches. Should be good because it's 1.5 inches from the datum, so no big deal.
Yeah, I was up at 20 after 6 this morning for no apparent reason watching you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out why Sparky was up that early. Good grief.
Yeah.
Well, he was 2 time zones away, so that's part of it. So.
I mean, I have been before. I thought about coming on in the middle of the night, but I don't know.
A good compliment. He didn't put you to sleep.
I would have wished that, but I had a cat in my lap and a hot cup of coffee on the coffee table there, and always good watching Sparky.
So what happens now is, I'd say maybe not, but I'll do the bottom, then I'll cut it off the bench and flip it over tomorrow and do the top, and we're basically done. It's together. Put the bell crank in it. I'm going to put this Traxler goofy bell crank in it.
Oh, wow.
Where's the push rod come off of that?
Anywhere you want, right here, out on the leg here.
Well, you just put it where you want it. I was thinking there was a hole already there, but there's not. How about that?
Drill it.
Interesting looking bell crank.
Well, what it does is the cutouts relieve for the spar so you can get full throw.
Ah, okay.
And it pulls from the center. It doesn't go through. It has those
okay.
teardrops in there. It's
oh yeah.
Yeah, that's neat.
That.
Yeah, kind of like those stacked phenolic ones I was showing on the other night.
Right. That one there is carbon, but
I have 2 of those aluminum ones with balsa in between, but I'm scared to use them.
yeah, don't use them. They're coming delaminated. Some the problem came up where I guess they didn't use the right glue or something.
Yeah.
Hey,
And
Sparky,
What I kind of wonder is on that is how they delaminate. It must be really a screw up on gluing because you got equal pull in the top and bottom plate, and the center is just a pivot.
well, there's plenty of people who've lost airplanes. Chris Rudd, I mean, a whole bunch of people lost airplanes because they come unglued.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah,
if
when
it's
I
so
put
much
mine
coming
together,
unglued. It's you know, the aluminum they used in either layer, they of course tried to make it as light as possible, which meant that it all depended on everything, and it's like the aluminum failed.
Yeah.
And you know, it probably peeled itself right off the core. So
yeah, on the phenolic ones I rough up all the inner surfaces with 80 grit and thoroughly clean them with chemicals before I even think about bonding them together.
yeah.
And
So Sparky,
even on the push rod attach, I run a 440 threaded insert in that sandwiches all the layers together on that point also. Plus you've got the pivot, and the lead outs are, you know, top to bottom. They're not even tied into the center, so it's with a 440 screw. So I just don't see how, if you do them right, that you could possibly get them to separate.
mm,
Yeah. What do you
Hey,
need, Dennis?
is Jeff making those now, or is that one you had in the box somewhere? I got one of his from a while back, but
I've had it for 6 years.
yeah, okay. Yeah, I got one. I got a normal one from him. Mine isn't a hook, it just looks normal,
It's
but it's
back
got
when
the
he
fork
flew
on
that.
the end and everything. So
Back when he flew that electric All-American at
Yeah.
that whatever year that was. That's got to be 5 or 6 years ago.
yeah, anyway. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I've
that's
seen
good.
one
That
of
looked
those
really
electric
nice.
All-American.
I didn't remember he
Flew
had an
good.
electric one. He had I know he had one of the All-American PhDs. The
Oh, I
only one I
remember
ever
that.
saw.
Well,
Yeah,
that's what
I saw the
Jeff is the
original.
one that got me to change my Viper, whatever it was, 9 or 10 or whatever, over from a PA 65 to electric. Biggest mistake I ever made.
Ah,
Hey,
hey, I saw
Sparky,
a YouTube video last night for RCers. RCers who are going from electric to glow. How introduction to glow motors. All right, for RC newbies. All right. Which I thought was I haven't watched it, but I'm kind of curious about it just to see what they're saying, you know. But you know, you think about it, people in RC especially now, they're buying ARFs and electric and basically out of the box. You don't even have to plug anything in. And so that would be quite an adventure for them to go to a glow engine from, you know, from that kind of experience base. So
Yeah, but from what I hear, it's an adventure. People going from glow to electric. I don't know. Never done it.
yeah, much overrated. You buy it out, you open the box and bolt it in. Stop thinking, just do it. Everything's fine.
That's about size.
So you're describing glow
Yeah.
engines then?
I'm sorry?
You're describing glow engines then?
No,
Don't overthink.
No.
no.
And I had a lot of,
You don't have to break the electric in.
I had a lot of good luck with glow engines and everything like that, but you know what? I really don't miss it. So
I have
Yeah,
a question
here.
for Sparky. Sparky, what's the distance from the rod to where you attach the push rod on that bell crank when you're going to drill that hole?
It depends what size horn you're using.
what do
Yeah.
you anticipate using? Let's
I'm
put it
going to
that
use
way.
inch and a quarter horns with 3/4 on the elevator, and I'll put this at 15/16.
Okay.
But I'll put the drill. You know, you can drill it anywhere from 7, 3/4, 7/8. I run 15/16. I like a little quicker controls.
Mhm.
If you got an inch and a half horn, you got to go out farther. You know, maybe inch and an eighth or inch and a 16th.
Oh, interesting.
Try to keep it 1-to-1. You got a 4-inch bell crank and a 4-inch handle. You want the bell crank to move, you know, I don't know how to explain it. The ratio has got to be 1-to-1, or at least 1-to-1. But I like it a little faster, so I move it out.
I use a 4 crank and a 5.6-inch handle.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what do you drill your bell crank at? 3/4?
Well, whatever the program says to do.
Yeah.
And
What does it normally say?
I don't. 0.6 inches probably. It's not perpendicular to the arms of the bell crank either necessarily.
Yeah, one day you got to do a demo on your program, Howard, so that I know how to use it.
Well, you're running that Rube Goldberg setup, right?
I have that. Yeah.
Oh, but I tell you what, he's playing short terms.
When it comes to drilling the hole in the bell crank, and how much distance do you want to have from the pivot to the application points, you guys ever think about mechanical advantage? If you have the hole too far out, I mean, you can put all the force in it, it's not going to deflect the control surfaces.
Correct.
So if you bring it closer to the bell crank, you have maximum force, and actually gets to the flaps and moves the flaps in position.
Well, you need to move the bell crank a long way. That's how you get the mechanical advantage there. And then you
what? Make a wider handle. Make a wider handle, and then you're done. To shoot your flight.
You work out the geometry of the rest of it to give the requisite control select.
Well, if you move it closer to the pivot, you have to move the handle farther, so you could run a bigger handle.
Run a bigger handle, yeah.
Right, so I run a 4-inch handle, and I move it farther away, 15/16 instead of 3/4.
Then you're losing over the system, and the elasticity of the lines cause you more.
For what? For what? Just to keep the handle that's exactly the same width. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
I got Casman auto handles, and I like them.
Yeah. The one with the longer, bigger spacing. Then, I mean,
I got them out. You put them out all the way. They're 4.5 inches. Whatever.
Yeah, Howard, I'm looking forward to that demonstration, man.
Okay.
That would be nice. Yes.
I left off with Sparky. So Philip Bailey, what's happening with you?
I'm back working on the 11 and working on another plane that I'm hoping to be able to show y'all for long. And then hoping we're going to get to go flying again for long. Right now it's just cold as heck and windy. I mean, it's a trash can blew by today. It was 2 houses down, and it ended up 4 houses down.
Damn, yeah, I don't want to fly there either. No, thank you.
It's been a mess. The weather's just a joke here lately. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's
one of the
definitely
guys called me and asked me. One of the guys called me and asked me that I want to go fly fishing for trout. You're kidding, right? The pond in the backyard is frozen, and no, y'all see it when you get back. Tell me all about it, but no, not me. One of the guys that went said that they stood on top of the bridge and dropped a rock off the bridge onto the water, and it wasn't water, it was ice. And he says it didn't go through, it just stopped. So I said, like I said, not me.
Yeah,
it's too dang cold. I don't want to fool with that.
Phil, you got to head up to northern Michigan and go ice fishing. All right. So.
I did that one time. I don't know when. There's guys, I'm telling you, there's something for a Southern boy to go to Michigan and be in the truck with a guy who's driving a 4-wheel drive truck that's the same thing as mine. So I know it's heavy. We drive out onto the lake. We stop and hook to this building. We pull a building out onto the lake. We drill a hole in the ice in the building, and we're sitting on chairs, benches, in a little room that's a sliding outhouse, basically. We're fishing through this hole in the ice, and we turn on a heater, and it's 70 degrees. It doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, I got
What?
news today that one of my buddies down in Florida is sending me some goodies for. I've been looking for some parts for a motor for a while, trying to get it back together, and then so we're in the midst of maybe getting some things going again. But I want to try to get some flights in this year. My buddies are telling me my overheads are looking decent, so I got to get out and get busy and fly some this year and really fly. I mean, last year I flew, but I mean, the overheads were just, you just kind of, I know where it's supposed to be. I'm praying it stays where it's supposed to be. Went
Okay.
3 different places flying exhibition flights, and that's all I could do. Now I can actually watch them, and they're a lot rounder. So hopefully
So
this year will
you're
be
you're
better.
past your neck and shoulder issues then, or
Well, I'm getting past. It's still sore as heck,
Okay.
and I come home and have to ice it down, but I'm getting there. I'm
Okay.
working through it. Doing what the doctor said didn't seem to be getting me anywhere. I mean, April the 7th, it'll be 3 years. And I just couldn't wait anymore. So I went out and forced it a little bit and went back and told him what I'd done. And he says, well, if it seems to be working, go ahead and try it because nothing else has worked. So that's what I'm doing. And it seems to be working. I'm forcing it and it's hurting, but it's hurting not flying too. So I'm flying. I may not fly well. I may not score well, but I'm going to have some fun, darn it.
There we go. Fun. Yeah.
I've had enough of this foolishness. I've got a plane downstairs that I've flown about 12 flights. It's one of Trey's, and I want to fly that darn thing. That thing really flies well, but I'm scared to fly it because I don't want to lose it and hear it go crunch till I get back where I can at least, if they go down flying, that's one thing. If it go down through stupidity, that's quite another. So, going to try to get back to flying and have some fun. But as Jim Lynch told me one time, kicking butt is my fun.
Yeah.
I missed
like
Jim.
that.
He was a great guy.
I like that.
Yeah.
Let me get to Mark Wise. We still have quite a few people having that chance to give him a chance to talk. So, hey, Mark, how's it going? What you been up to?
Oh, actually a lot, but if you would indulge me for 1 minute before you take out your airplane.
Okay.
This guy is driving in his car. His wife's in the passenger seat. They're going through the country. It's a beautiful ride. And he hears this clucking noise along the side of his car. And he looks down and there's a chicken running at 40 miles an hour right with him.
You told
Can't
that
believe it.
last week.
What?
You told that joke last time.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah,
I
the
feel better now.
three-legged
Is that
chicken.
the three-legged?
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah, the punchline, just to rub it in, the punchline is like face. I don't know. I never caught one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good story. Anyway, my goal in life before I either freeze to death on my way up to visit Ed tomorrow, is to focus on having airplanes and going to fly them. Because I'm very jealous of you guys that you don't have
Live
to.
where it's warm.
I'm sorry?
Jealous
It
to the
moves
guys
where
that
it's
live
warm.
warm.
Yeah. Couple of things that are going on that take a lot of my time, and I'm working on that. One of them is this year I decided, since Tampa was kind of going the direction I thought it should go, which is not always a good thing, that I formed 3 committees, maybe 4. And I got to tell you, it was probably the best idea I've ever had because the committees are really generating good stuff, much more than I could possibly do. And plus, it gives more people ownership in Pampa. Pampa shouldn't be me. Pampa should be everyone who belongs. So in a couple of weeks, well, it's about 3 weeks probably, I'm having a meeting with a Zoom meeting with the leadership team, which is about 14 folks, and going to announce 6 more committees and just stagger their initiation over time. The ones that are working now, it kind of started with a planning committee, because one day it just dawned on me. I said, if someone says, what's Pampa going to be doing in 6 months? I didn't have a good answer. Pampa is, it's what you make of it as the leader. Pampa can just be Pampa and not change, which may be fine. Or I think these are very challenging times, and I look at it this way: if you were at the banquet in July, not only did it work out in terms of having a lot of people there, but it was a great celebration of 6 or 7 different people who've been doing this thing for 40, 50 years. And I thought to myself, who's going to be sitting there when Dave Fitzgerald and Paul Walker and Orestes hang up their handles? And who's going to be there when Matt Cologne stops flying and Derek Barry starts flying? And I promise you, if Pampa doesn't do anything, there'll be no one there. So I am really inflexible on this issue. Selfishly, I want control line in any form to continue, whether or not there's balsa wood, whether or not there's, it's very easy to say it can't be done. I'm just not cut that way. One of the committees that's just, I think, coming up with some great stuff is the judging committee. And I got a lot of pushback on it when I announced it. Well, why do we need a judging committee? And I said, wait a minute, we got people who are the best flyers in the country, some in the world, who may have spent 1,000 hours building an airplane, hundreds or 1,000 hours of trimming it, and they're being judged by people who've never been trained. I said, that's not right. The judge should not determine who the winner is, the flyer should. But the problem is there's no formal course. There's stuff in AMA, and we've come up with a really good program that we're getting pretty close to launching. Denny is one of the members on that, and it's a good balanced committee with judges and good flyers like Dennis. So anyway, I'm excited about it. And I'm saying this to you guys because on the 15th, when the guys and I get together and we talk about the new committees, all I'm looking for is for one of my guys on the leadership team to take a committee. And it's up to that person who's on the committee. And it doesn't have to be a Pampa member. It could be anyone who just sees a role in trying to do something within Pampa that's going to make it stick around and grow. So later in February, I'll probably tell you what the committees are, tell you who's leading them, and I hope that someone bites and say, you know what, I got 90 minutes a month. I could work on this. And it doesn't make a difference where you live, what you fly. You could be retired, you could be, you could be young, you could be old, but it's just going to take a lot of that. So that's what's going on there. I'm very excited about it. This week I've had, I guess, two Pampa Zoom meetings. The other things that are going on, Paul Walker and I are getting pretty busy on the Worlds. That's a very different animal. Thank God Paul has volunteered to help because he's been down this road before. And the latest thing that's happening is questions about the LPAD, which has been going on ever since I think I was born. And I think like anything else in life, you have to be passionate about your cause. Otherwise, you're going to get run over. So I'm not real flexible on certain things, like we need a smooth surface to fly the World Championships on. We need a smooth surface to fly the Nats. And I don't think that's negotiable. I just don't. Other thing going on, we have some tentative dates. Actually, they're probably not tentative anymore for the 2025 Nats, which has gotten a little more complicated because July 4th, I think, is a Friday. And AMA wanted to start CLPA Pampa on Sunday of the same weekend. And I didn't like that. I think they're two very different events. One is a family vacation, and one is you go to Muncie and you fly. So there's just a lot that goes on in the background, to give people opportunities to, participate in big events. And that's good. That's good stuff. So a lot going on, a lot of good stuff going on. I love what's happening in the committees. I'd love to see some of you say yes to participating in one of them. And that basically means kind of a Zoom meeting. I don't know, Dennis, every 3 weeks or something, maybe. It depends
Yeah,
what the topic is.
we started off, I think, every 2 weeks, and then let the task decide when it was time, when we could push it out.
Yeah,
So
because go ahead.
I was just going to ask, can you share what your new committees are, or do you want to? Do you still want to?
No, I can't remember them all offhand, but I'll give you an idea. One is to formalize the Nats into a competition committee
Okay.
that looks at the Nats, looks at regionals, looks at what we can do to help local and regional contests.
Okay.
These things just slip through the cracks because of the current structure of Pampa. They just do. Because right now, every district director theoretically is responsible for 4 states. Well, the problem with that is the district director could be 4 hours from a fly. It's pure luck if the district director is anywhere close to a member. So that's one. We're doing a communications committee. We got to get the website turned into the 21st century. It's got to be friendly. It's got to contain the information that you want to find on there. It can't have stuff from 2019, about who did what. Some of this requires money. So another committee will be dealing with those kind of issues. You can't run Pampa based on dues. You can't do that. You'll push too many people away. The committees also are, most of the Pampa members don't go to the Nats. So the Pampa cannot be just about the Nats. Okay, it has to be what can we do at local levels and reasons for people to join Pampa. What's the advantage? Okay. And my thinking is if we can do this right, people shouldn't question whether they should join Pampa. It'd be too obvious why they should do it. Okay. So, it takes a lot of work. I don't mind doing it, but I don't want Pampa to be purely a reflection of what I think is a good idea or a bad idea. That's my, so we're excited. This information become more public. Just last night, I sent all the people, 14 of them, a heads up that this is coming. And then next week, they'll get a copy of what the 6 committees are. And then we want to bounce it off them, see what their recommendations are, and then ask for a few people you got to step up. Because it's like anything in life, for every 10 people in an organization, you probably have 2 that work. The others are nice people. They don't want to give it the time that it needs.
Right.
Okay. And
that's the old 80-20 rule, Mark. It applies to everything.
It is. It's easier when I was an employer because I could dangle the paycheck in front of people. Got to do this because you want to get paid. But when people are making nothing, a 10% increase doesn't excite them. So
yeah, I spent close to a decade in direct sales, and that was absolutely true. That was inviolate the 80-20 rule.
Yeah. And
you should give them a 100% increase.
Yeah, I'm very upbeat on this. I'm very excited about it because I see what's going on. I'm not sure that we shouldn't change how we do business as Pampa for a lot of good reasons. We're also going to be sending out a survey to all Pampa members and find out what their skill set is beyond model airplanes. We just may find people who are good at grants, people who are good with websites, people who just have all kinds of skills, and ask them to be on that committee. And I think what happens, I know since I not joined, but since I ran unopposed to sweep the presidency, there's a lot of ownership. I'm proud of the organization. I have a piece of it. And when you get on a committee, you're going to feel that way, you know. So anyway, Charles, thanks for the time. I love what I'm doing, but you know, it's an organization and it's going to live or die based on what the members do.
Well, thank you,
So,
Mark.
so
Appreciate it.
Mark, I've got a suggestion. I'm about a month and a half delinquent in renewing my Pampa. And I think somebody senior in the Pampa organization, like Mark Wise, should come up and personally confront me about it and encourage me to keep my membership.
Oh, brother, it's getting deep.
You're gonna have to
Renew it, but,
raise your
love to see
thermometer a little bit if you want to get Mark to come on up where it's minus bazillion degrees out there.
You know, Bob, I would do that, but I spoke to Len about it, and Len said, "Don't waste your time with Bob." So
Yeah, the bugger would say that, wouldn't he? Because he's not on tonight. He's chickening out.
No, he's
Oh,
here.
yes, he is.
He's
I'm here.
He
I'm
came
not
in.
chickening anything.
He's right there, Bob.
There
I'm
you
not afraid
are.
of another. I'm not afraid of another Canadian any day.
Very, very cool.
So did
Anyway.
you tell Mark that? I don't. Or is he taking your name in vain?
So anyway, that's it. It's all good. We got some challenges, and we'll figure out how to take care of them.
All righty. Hey, thanks so much. You're doing a
Thanks.
terrific job as the president of
Thanks,
Pampa.
Mark.
Thank you.
Thanks for everything.
I have
Mark.
a couple of comments in the chat box. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights says, hey, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Thanks for watching this tonight. And then John Skukalek, who's a member of our YouTube channel, he says, here's your like. Thank you very much, John. And then Brent Williams says, hola, amigos. And then the T-Bone 1260, Phil, I'll buy that bell crank from you, Tom Luciano. Phil, are you interested in selling it?
What bell crank?
Probably your aluminum sandwich that you were mentioning.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's not doing me any good.
And then we have from Gary Sinclair, who's a member of our YouTube channel. Thank you, Gary. I know he's having difficulty. He says, I'm still getting Windows ready. Don't turn off your computer. Oh, okay. Yeah, be patient. Dang it, Gary. I'm sorry about what the difficulty you're having. But
Did you get my like?
right now I'm up to 18 likes. So thank you very much.
Okay.
So we've
It said it went.
we have 26 viewers. And don't forget the super chats. Super chats help. You know,
Did John Miller get his beard into a snowblower?
I don't know. Yeah, it's a little
I
rough,
think
huh?
Santa got a trim.
Well, it's a different season.
I stood too close to the yeah, to the cat. Cat was very affectionate. Licked it all off.
All right.
Actually, it's not Christmas. He's trying to look like the Easter Bunny. So
Yeah, he's trying to be incognito.
yeah.
Let me try to get the people there. People that came
I
in
shave it once a year.
a long
Whether
time
it
ago.
needs it
So
or
let me continue to through, and then we can have a free fall. So I think Brendan Angstrom, what you guys been up to? I see you guys building.
Hey, how we doing, everybody?
All right, doing well.
Hola.
Hey,
Is
we
Green
had a
Bay
write
in
up.
the playoffs. So you got your Green Bay shirt out there in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, they are. The
Okay,
Dallas Cowboys know they're in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard
Yeah,
about
boy,
that.
they got bumped. They
Yep.
knocked them bad.
Yeah. Well, it could be another buzzsaw tomorrow, though. On the reverse side, Packers could get easily wiped out by 49ers. They're a tough team, so we'll see.
So what do you got there? Is that a ringmaster? What is that?
This is a
Like a
buster.
buster.
Yeah, we're rehabbing a buster as a racing plane, and yeah, we Angstrom picked out this color. I don't know if you can how well you can see it, but he bronzed it or coppered it. It's more of a copper color. It probably doesn't show up too well on there.
It looks like copper. It does.
Yeah, so he picked out some spray paint and wanted to paint it copper, and we got some black wings we're putting on here. And yeah, we did some. If y'all remember, we were making those signs, those political signs, into some racer planes that didn't go so hot. So we just went over to our rugged stunt trainer planes that we originally got up and flying with. We're kind of a little bit beyond that now in our flying. So we got a couple of those foam wing planes up, and we completed about 3 rounds of it. That was before Christmas, while it was still warm enough out here. So, but we can do it. He can do it. So now it's a matter of getting this plane rehabbed and ready for Brodax in June. So that's what we're doing.
Cool deal.
Did you grass build that buster, or is it a kit?
No, we bought it at last year at Brodax. Peter Klosky showed up with a whole bunch of planes, and we knew we wanted to get into the racing stuff. And yeah, it was right there.
The leading edge looks like an original Carl Goldberg, not a Brodak, is it?
Yeah, you would know better than me. All I know is it's a buster. So
is it a solid leading edge, or is it a couple of little pieces of 1/4 inch?
The shaped leading edge, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's one solid piece.
And a solid
okay, if you got
trailing
an extra
edge.
one, or if anyone
Goldberg.
got an extra one, I want it. I'm collecting all 3 of the Goldbergs to reminiscent of my youth. I got an original Cosmic Wind very early kit. I got a shoestring, and I'm looking for a buster.
Okay.
But I don't want the Brodak ones. I want the Goldberg.
Yeah, the other thing we've been into, you've probably seen this in the past. This is our SV11 fuselage. We finally got it laminated. It's got a hollow frame to it, and it's got 1/64 ply over it. I don't know if you can see the whole thing. Yeah, you can't see the whole.
Yeah, we can.
There it is. And then I'm starting. Dennis, I did buy one of the what is it? The conversion kits.
Kit.
Yep. So we're going to put a. What's that?
2022.
Yeah. Yep. That's what we got.
Mm-hmm.
2022. So we're going to put a conversion kit in the front. We got a badass motor. I can't remember what it is, but yeah, we're going to fly it with a 5S battery. So it's coming along. We're hoping to have this thing up by Nats, or maybe we're going to go down to Joe Knoll. We think we're going to go down to Joe Knoll for the event.
Good
down
deal.
there.
Be glad to see you.
Yeah,
Well,
maybe we can.
you'll have it for Brodak. So
Yeah.
Cool.
Maybe we can get it down there for the stunt camp down there at Joe Knoll, though. So
You'll learn a lot.
yeah,
You will learn a lot.
Again,
It's a lot of fun.
the only other thing I got is that we had a rite of passage tonight with Angstrom here. And this will tie back into Control Line, so give me a moment. But we watched the Blues Brothers tonight, which is
cool.
one of my top 2 movies.
all right.
All those terrible Canadian actors. Yeah.
We're on a mission. Oh.
Yeah, so again, it's one of my childhood favorites. But the thing is I kind of learned that USA and TNT blanked out a bunch of swear words and stuff that makes it so a 13-year-old has some questionable language he was exposed to, except he's heard it all before at Brodax Fly-In and heard it. It is true. That was part of the conversation with me and Tony. Like, can we expose him to the language? Well, he's sitting there arguing, I've been to Brodax. So, okay.
So he gave you a Foxtrot Oscar, did he?
Yeah.
I must have been on the other side of the field. I don't remember any of that naughty stuff going on in Brodak.
Oh man, go over to it's combat. Go over to combat, right, Angstrom? Yeah, it gets real fun.
Okay. Now I understand. Now I understand. Yeah.
Very cool.
Wait till you hear it in the center of the racing circle. I'll just let it go at that. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Angstrom's ready to throw some elbows, though. Actually, that's another update. We went back to back the other day. He's got me beat now. So the height in the family, it's official. He's got me beat. So I'm shorty now.
All right.
Oh my word. Guys,
Get him,
if you ever see this rascal, if you ever see these two, Shorty is not going to come into the conversation.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Easy to pick out in the crowd.
Yeah,
I guarantee I'm 6'4" and I have to look up to Angstrom and did 2 years ago. So now it's going to really be bad.
Hey, as one of the CDs of Brodak, I'm hoping that we're known for something other than language.
Yeah.
A good time. You're known for a good time.
It's so
Hey,
much you're
actually-
famous for the language.
No problem.
Well,
Hey, actually,
Mark, how come? Why do you think when we all show up, the first thing we see you, we see Will, we say, "Hey, it's Jake and Elwood," you know?
Oh, Lord.
So, Angstrom, why don't you give us some words? What's been happening with you? What have you learned anything? What are you into? What have you had any aha moments? What's going on with you as far as control line and that kind of stuff?
And what's with all the balloons on the ceiling?
Oh,
There you go.
oh, you saw that back there, huh?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll show off that while you sit there and think about your aha moments. Maybe you can talk about sanding or something. But you see the balloon arch there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kids. Where did you all see it? Tamu. They saw it on Tamu, which is a real cheap order site.
Right.
And so the kids got excited and wanted it up for Christmas. And so Tony and I, we put it up last second. We were up till like 2 a.m. Christmas Eve trying to put it together. But it was in the room, the living room. This is the basement. We've since moved it down to the basement because it was just taking up too much space in the main living room. But yeah, that's what it was all about.
I thought you guys were planning to practice for the balloon event.
No.
Yeah, where's the lounge chair to hook up to it?
Yeah, really.
That'd be a neat difference. Have it on a sort of like a ceiling suspended in the air, and you got to go after them inverted.
Yeah.
Oh, you're getting bad now.
So what have you picked up, Angstrom?
I don't know. We've just been doing like a ton of sanding on this, just a lot.
Right.
He's learning the art of sanding. You know, we're using the belt sander and the other component on there, and then we've got some really long sanding bars, and so there's been a lot of sanding going on trying to get this into shape.
I also learned breathing in sawdust isn't fun.
No.
That's what masks are for.
Yeah. We got them, but the particles hang out in the air a little bit afterwards too, and they get it. That sawdust gets on everything.
Actually, don't bother with the mask and sneeze into the Kleenex or the hanky afterwards and look at all the dust that comes out and be proud of it.
Oh, me.
So, Angstrom, you can do the full pattern. Is that right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I mean, once you learn how to do the pattern, you still spend the rest of your life trying to perfect it. So, what are you kind of looking at doing? What are you pursuing as far as in your pattern?
Mostly hourglass is not good. Yeah, needs a lot of work, and definitely clover. I think the upper outside loop always gets really loose for some reason. I don't know. Yeah. So.
Yeah, what we've had on the he was flying a twister, or that chrome color winged twister. That was one we were using a lot. And on that last loop, that fourth loop on the clover, there were plenty of times where it would get pretty loose up there, and you just
the third one.
No, it was always the fourth one, wasn't it?
Third one. Fourth one's lower right. Fourth loop's lower right. It's upper right, lower left, upper left, and lower right.
You're correct. It is the third one. Yeah, it is correct. Okay. Yeah, the third one. Yeah, it would get pretty loose, and you're just hoping it just kind of catches again and finish.
Y'all flying electric? Do you not fly the pusher props?
We have pusher props. Yep.
And it gets loose on the wow.
Yeah, that's how the twister's been. I think.
And all my other planes. Ever since it happened once, it's just been happening with them all.
Yeah. All right. So next time you go, watch one thing. Watch and see if you do something different. If you change position with your hand or something that pulls it. Because I fought that for a while. And Tom asked me, why in the world do you always yank the handle before you go into that maneuver? It's stuff you get in the habit of doing, and you, like one of the guys, he's over here with this, and he got his arm way over here, and he tries to keep his arm over here to do that one, and he's like halfway through, he says, "Oh, my arm's supposed to be over here." Well, he's putting 2 foot of slack in the line, and then wondering what happened. I worked with him at Brodak about that, and then I wished I had him a few months later because went to compete with him and went to a contest, and he was competing against one of my buddies, and he gave him a fit. He corrected that problem. But anyway, just watch how you do it, because a lot of times when you have a problem with something like it, it's because you set up and you hold your arm over here watching that one, and then you try to catch up with the plane. Follow the plane. Make sure the lines are toward keep your arm facing the airplane all the time. I know everybody keeps telling me now to keep your hand in front of you and watch the airplane do it this way. No, follow the airplane. Watch Bill Werwidge, watch Bob Hunt, watch any of the big guys. Watch Denny fly. Denny follows the airplane, because I watch them all and see what they do, because I know they know how to do it.
Is your airplane warped?
Is there any chances of warping that plane?
Yeah, we kind of check that out. We don't think it's warped, but I don't know. We still are kind of novice on a lot of stuff.
Well, when you fly it up right side up, then upside down, is the wing parallel to the lines?
Yeah, it's doing the same thing. It comes across as that it's straight.
And then it's Sparky, and unmute yourself, Sparky.
Do you have a trim tab on the airplane?
We do not.
Good. Okay. Well,
Go ahead, Sparky. Let Sparky in.
That shouldn't be the problem, then. So.
Well, the question is for Howard.
All right.
I want to get into the mind of an engineer. You're telling me on the bell crank, the longer lever has less leverage.
Yeah.
Huh?
The longer lever has less leverage.
On the output, yeah.
How does that work? I mean, you can move the world if you have a lever long enough.
Yeah, but you're going against it. The closer your hole is towards the axle, the more force you have.
You're pulling on the bell crank
to give it more
arms.
leverage.
Pulling on the bell crank arms, correct.
That's where your lever is, and then the other side is it's subtracting from your leverage that you have, that you're putting into the bell crank arm. So you
Okay, now the next question is, the farther away you move from the pivot, do the flaps move more or less?
More.
There you go. More.
It's actually think about it this way, Sparky. You need a certain force to deflect the flaps a certain angle at a certain speed, right? So let's say you want to deflect the flaps 30 degrees at a certain the speed they reflect, say 55 miles per hour, right? You need a certain force to push those flaps to actually get to the 30 degrees, right?
That's what you got muscles for.
No.
Does it move
because you have
wait.
the lines
Logic,
reflects in the air.
Mechanics logic against engineers logic. If it moves farther with the less movement, what has more force? Farther or less? Come on, guys.
Closer to the screw.
The amount of the farther it moves, the less leverage it has.
But the farther it moves.
The farther what?
If you're sitting on the workbench, if you're in the air and you're trying to push the air out of the way, you will be fighting it, and you will reach the point where the airplane simply will not do the tricks. All right, that's what we're getting to.
If you could put a force gauge on the surface and your hand, you would see that.
Well, the force on a flap is exactly the same, regardless of what the bell crank is.
Wait, what are you guys talking about? Are you guys talking about the size of the bell crank?
No, the pivot.
No. We're talking about distance between the pivot and where the push rod attaches to the bell crank.
So if you got an 1.25 inch horn, what should be the drill hole, Howard?
5/8.
5/8.
5/8. That's what I use.
If the flaps move more than 30 degrees, you're wasting your time.
5/8.
Yep. Or if you prefer the middle hole on a Brodak bell crank.
5/8 of an inch.
Mhm.
Well, it depends on how much the bell crank moves total.
Well, that means if you got 5/8 of an inch, you got to really, really turn your handle to get the flaps to move.
30
Unnecessary.
degrees? No. Think about it. You're just moving 30 degrees. It's not very
Right.
far.
So if you're moving 30 degrees and I only have to move my handle that much to get 30 degrees. And if I move it 5/8, I'm going to have to move the handle that much. So which is getting more leverage? That's what I'm trying to get at.
You have Excel?
No.
Uh,
5/8 of an inch.
You
Less
ever work with a lever?
5/8 of an inch. Man, that's like nothing. That's not even 3/4 of an inch what your flap is, or what your elevators are. 3/4.
I put the elevator on the same height as I put the flap.
Which is 3/4.
No, I run the flap. The elevator push rod comes off the 1.25 inches and it goes back to the elevator at 1.25 inches so I can get my 1-to-1.
Okay, now here's what I'm getting at. If you go from the bell crank to the top of the flap horn, which is 1.25 inches, and you got 3/4 to 3/4, that's 1-to-1 on the flaps. But I drill at 15/16. You're telling me to drill it at 5/8. I'll get less movement with 5/8 than I will 15/16.
No, you're getting all the movement you need.
Your bell crank may not be moving enough.
All right.
I'm gonna have to look at that.
All right, here's the visual aid, I guess.
All right, thank you. Let me make it big here.
This is my resurrection of my 1969 Typhoon. I don't know if I can show this. All right, this is one of the tall Brodak horns in it.
1.25
inches. 1.25 inches tall. You see where it's coming. I don't know if you can see inside here or not. It's got a Brodak 4-inch bell crank. It's coming off the middle hole. I said 5/8. It looks like it's probably closer to about 0.65, 0.7. Just use the middle hole on the bell crank. I don't know if you really can't even see it,
Yeah, you
can
can
you?
see it.
No.
So it's
You can see
3/4
it a
of
little
an inch.
bit.
But the point is that I got about 30 all set. I'll have 30 degrees of flap and I'll have about 10 degrees more than I actually need.
Right. You don't need much, but
That's it. That's the whole point of it.
so speeding up the controls. I'm looking to speed up the controls.
Not gonna
My
speed up
question
your-
mark would be, my first question would be why?
Yeah.
Why do you think you need that? And my second question would be, if you want to make it as fast as you want as that, then yeah, you're doing exactly the right thing. I
Okay.
just happen to think I hope you're using a 2-inch two-inch handle on it
No.
to slow it back down to where you can get it into the realm of human.
No.
Or
my
put it
airplane
another way,
run nose heavy.
you're big on trying to get corners and everything like that. Move your CG back
No.
where it belongs, and you'll get a lot better corner that way with a lot less control.
But you lose directional stability.
Not a bit. You can go
Okay.
35, 38%. You'll never even know, you won't notice anything in stability.
Okay.
Now,
That's the
Danny,
God
that's
honest
based on
truth.
4-inch bell.
Hang on, hang on, you guys.
4-inch or
Let people go back and forth. Just
Now,
listen.
Charles, you flew my airplane, and that was drilled at 15/16 with 1.25 inches. Was it lacking for turn? Was it lacking? Did you have to crank on the handle to get it to go? Just beep beep.
No,
And
it
that
was
runs
it was a
nose heavy.
really. I mean, I had to adjust my handle. I bought my own handle, but it was very comfortable. Had leverage. Had no problem in the wind. I mean, the wind was. I'm not sure. It was kind of windy there at the Nats that year. I mean, not like a couple of years ago, but it was. I was concerned because I wasn't that familiar with the plane. It was a really good flying plane. That's why I asked you. That's why I asked you what I asked you. I was curious how to replicate how that Junar felt.
It runs. I run it nose heavy, but airplane has to be light in order to do this. You run it nose heavy, so you have directional stability in the wind. The bell crank is drilled 15/16 from the pivot to 1.25 inches, 3/4, 3/4. Sometimes 3/4 less. Maybe 3/8 at the elevator, because I like to run more elevator than flap. and you just gotta just barely tweak it. But I'm thinking if I run it at 5/8, what you guys are talking about, I'd have to really crank on it to get it to turn.
Okay, try it this way. You're not running fast controls to make or you're not flying at nose heavy to counteract, to make the airplane stable. You're flying at nose heavy to counteract the effect of your fast controls. You slow down the controls, you can move the CG way back.
If you move the CG back in the wind, they get floaty. They just start. I watch them at the nets. They float. But if you run it nose heavy, it's like a dart.
That is, I've had zero correlation to that.
Okay, I see.
Line tension is it's a question of the overall airplane trim, and lead out position versus CG is where it's at.
Oh well.
But when it's nose heavy, when your centrifugal force is going to push the nose out more than the tail, so that's where I get my line tension, with that being kind of nose heavy.
Well, I run 3 degrees offset.
Yeah, that helps too. But,
I run 0.
All right.
I think Paul Walker does 0 too, as well.
And
I see your hand raised, Bob.
Yeah, Howard's chuckling away there. We're getting animated here, but I don't know. There's a lot.
This is what I have on my plane.
All right,
my plane has about 5/8 around neutral. My plane has about 5/8 around the neutral position, about 3/4 of max travel distance from over there. But I still have a 1-to-2 ratio on my flaps horn, so I'm moving even less than that. So if you look at this here, basically because of the system I'm running, right? If you measure like from the axis to the bearing here, the neutral position, it's about 5/8. But if you look at the application here, the bearing is over here, my flaps horn is over here. It's a 1-to-2 ratio. So even if I were using just this directly at 5/8, move back and forth, I will still have more than enough. I'll probably go 1/2 inch and still have more than enough on this. And it's a 4-inch bell crank. So
yeah, but it's a Rube Goldberg bell crank. It's not what I'm using.
Doesn't matter.
It works.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter in the context that you're using it, because what he described is while the output is getting to the elevator, and it's on that same throw.
It's cut in half.
The whole thing about it is this, and several years ago when I was starting to do the high aspect ratio airplanes and stuff like that, and started looking at things a whole lot better, I was running very long moment arms, 11-inch moment arm on a 35. You won't find that on 99% of the airplanes at the Nationals. You won't find an 11-inch nose moment. I was flying that in 1979, I think. And I was also flying with an aft CG. I developed my control system where I had no more than 30 degrees of movement in it. And I set the control ratio so to get that, I had a fully adjustable. I was running 1.5 inch long. Well, actually, one of them had a 1 3/4 inch flap horn on it because I had a bell crank like you described with a long output on it. I slowed it way down to that. It's a matter of that's one of the airplanes that Brett Buck come over and picked it up, and he was trying to check the balance on it, and still had a rag on the nose, wrapped around the nose. He was trying to check the CG on it. I took the rag off for him. Stuff like, and from flying sailplanes, I learned that the stability. You fly a sailplane at a 25% CG, it's a dog. It's got to go to 35, 38% or so before it really, really starts to perform. They do not lose stability.
No.
In fact, they got better speed stability because going fast and going slow, they maintain the same.
They don't pitch up.
You fly a sailplane with a 25% CG, you point the nose down, it wants to climb into the sky because it's too nose heavy.
Absolutely.
So
So
I don't
my
know.
question is for Denny. Now you were describing a 4-inch bell crank with roughly a little over 5/8 throw, which is 625, or pivot position, or sorry, out 30 is what you were describing earlier before all the other conversation.
Well, you were breaking up a little bit there, but
Sorry,
the key
you were
thing,
describing using
Bob,
a
I'm
4-inch
using
bell
a
crank.
4-inch bell crank, and I'm trying to generate 30 degrees flat motion, and I will
Yeah,
do
with
whatever it
yeah, and
takes to
you're
get
dealing
there.
with about 5/8 inch pivot
Mhm.
to get a 30-degree throw,
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
you were describing a little over 5/8, which is 625.
It's the middle hole on a stock Brodak bell crank. All right.
Okay, so that's just a
11/16.
touch over 5/8. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're
11
working 30
16ths.
30 degrees maximum flap travel with 1-to-1 to the elevator is what you're describing, if I
Exactly.
heard it correct.
Yeah.
And
I'm
that's
running
4-inch
I'm
bell
running
crank.
15 degrees on my flaps with 25 on the elevator.
And he's
I'm not
running
even
closer
using
to
that in flight.
reality at what the airplane really needs. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
if you
just
build
wanted
as
to
light as
clarify
Sparky
that
does,
that's
he doesn't need any more than 15 degrees on the flaps.
Right.
Just hang
Yeah,
on,
that's just what I
Tryon.
wanted
Let's
to
get
clarify
between
because there was all kinds
Bob
of
and
discussion about
Denny.
different rows.
okay.
Say it again, Bob. I
So thank you.
you get your answer, Bob?
Mostly, yeah. But a few interruptions there, but mostly.
All
So to clarify with Danny, we want about a maximum 30-degree flap with a 1-to-1 to the elevator, variable depending upon the capabilities of the aircraft or requirements, based off a 4-inch bell crank with 5/8 to 11/16 inch pivot.
Yeah. All yes, yes, and yes.
Okay.
I built some airplanes with 3-inch bell cranks the same way, and then you start playing games with the handle spacing and stuff like that to get them to behave themselves because,
Okay, and typically you're flying with what, about a 4 to 4.5 inch handle?
around 4 inches. Yeah. 4 to 4.5. I think the big airplane.
Don't you kind of want the handle to match the bell crank, kind of?
I want the handle to match what I feel to be. When I start flying the airplane, I use the handle to fine tune the sensitivity on the airplane. I don't have a hard rule that says 4-inch bell crank, 4-inch handle.
I see.
Right.
All right. If I'm flying it and if I think the airplane needs more sensitivity, I will spread the handle. If it feels too sensitive, I'll narrow the handle.
And are you typically flying hardpoint or
Yeah, I've been
cable
flying
or what?
hard points. And then if I'm between settings and I can't seem to get where I want, I might tweak the CG a little bit, add weight, nose weight, tail weight. I don't think I have anything I'm flying right now that has nose weight on it. And so I'll add tail. I've got a few airplanes that needed tail weight. So
Now, are you flying a straight or a biased handle, Denny?
I'm flying a most of my stuff right now, I'm using a Brodak handle, a straight handle.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Mm.
It's interesting. We've all got our own setups.
Here we go. We have to start
Charles?
dragging out all our handles again, guys. It's some of the best shows we've had have been showing off handles, but
On a totally different note, Charles, do you want me to do a little minor show and tell?
Not yet. Hang on a second. Lynn Burrell had a comment.
Oh, sorry.
I went downstairs and I measured all the bell cranks. So what I've done is the Brodak 4-inch and 3-inch bell cranks, the holes are in the same location. The
Right.
center hole is at 11/16 on both of them.
There you
The
go.
windy bell crank, on the other hand, the hole is 13/16, and there's only one hole in it, and that's the way Windy did them all at
There you go.
13/16.
mhm.
Just so
Okay.
that's a 4-inch bell crank. And for me, And now I fly 1-to-1. I always fly 1-to-1. I know some people don't agree with that, but I fly 1-to-1, and they always seem to be pretty good in terms of sensitivity with that, with anywhere in that range between 11/16 and 13/16 seems to work really well for me. I don't know what Dennis sort of said, a little 11/16 to 5/8, so he's going maybe a little bit the other way, which reduces the sensitivity a bit, but that seems to work okay for him, and that's good. And the 11/16 seems to be sort of that middle ground for it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's interesting that the windy is 13/16. Yeah, it's the 1/8 of an inch difference.
Yeah, he did all his 13/16. Every bell crank's the same, and he put those in all his airplanes. Mind you, he flew mostly big airplanes.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is that he set them up the same, which meant he would be adjusting things around it. He might adjust the flap horn length. He might adjust the the CG, the handle spacing, something like that.
Exactly.
And he was using hard point or adjustable handles, not hard points, right? Was he using?
He had adjustable handles, no hard points.
Yeah.
When I used windy bell cranks, the controls seemed too slow for me. That's why I went to 15/16 or 7/8 even.
That's right. Okay. I get that. And I think it's a personal preference. I can understand that. For some people, you're going to want more. And for some people, they're going to want less.
But what I was getting at is I wanted to come back and ask Howard an engineer's view about the longer the lever, the more leverage you got. And he said, no, it's closer, the more. I don't understand. I don't understand that.
You didn't hear the whole thing. The longer the lever that you're applying the load on is the bell crank arm. You want that to be long. The force that you're taking off of it is the output side. That's the bell crank side. You want that to be short. The bigger the ratio between those, between the length of the bell crank arm to the other, that's how much leverage you actually have. If you made that, 4-inch bell crank is a 2-inch long arm on it, right? If you took and made the bell crank output 2 inches long, you give away all, you would give away all your mechanical advantage.
Oh, I see where you're going. But the flaps would move farther.
Oh, they sure would.
Right. There you go. I see.
Kind of like a green box Dobler using stock controls. They flap damn near 45 degrees.
Right.
Howard Rush wants to get in. He has his hand raised. Go ahead, Howard.
Yeah, if you let me, I'll go over how I think controls ought to be set up. This is from an old stability control engineer. First, consider that between your handle and the airplane, there's this spring, and you're trying to fly the airplane via this spring. The spring is from line elasticity, and the line's blowing back in the wind. Now, so to have the least effect of this spring, you need to have the most leverage over the control deflection. So you're trying to react the hinge moment, that the amount of torque it takes to turn the flaps. To do so, you need to have the control lines move as much as possible per unit of flap deflection. So the first thing you do is you pick the biggest bell crank and move it through the greatest distance that you can. There's probably some point of diminishing returns, and Hugh Stark addressed that in Stunt News a while back. I don't know if he's right, but I haven't figured out where the point of diminishing returns is. So I just I use a windy bell crank, and I move it plus or minus 90 degrees pretty much. Then the next thing you do is figure out how much you want to move the flaps. And I don't know that yet. I've got an instrumentation on my airplane to find out for my airplane, and I'll report to you when I find it out. I haven't hooked it up yet. But I think it's somewhere less than 30 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe something like 20 degrees of flap. Okay, then you pick the elevator and flap control horn size to make the mechanics come out right. So you won't have too much force on the push rod, and so it fits, and so it doesn't amplify the slop you have in the controls. People now are using like 1-inch bell crank or 1-inch control horns. Now, if you got all that settled, then you just pick a linkage between the bell crank and the flaps to give you as much flap as you want with as much bell crank as you want. And if you got a tall flap control horn, you can have a long ways between the bell crank pivot and the output hole in the bell crank. Then after you get this is what most folks would consider slow controls, but you can then you use as big a handle as you need to make this work. And in my case, the handle's 5.6 inches. I got a lot of leverage over the flaps and the handle, and it's pretty easy to fly the airplane accurately.
Yep.
So that's what I think.
Thank you, Howard. Now, on your dog 5 and new dog and old dog, they're the same height as far as flap horns, or have you changed anything between the old dog and the new dog?
Well, they got Igor stuff in them, so they're weird.
Okay.
Oh, and then you mess with the bell crank location and sideways and the rotation of the output arm of the bell crank, so that you linearize the response, so that the degrees flap per inch of lead out movement is a straight line. That maybe you don't want that, but I'm assuming that you do. So
yeah, Tim just used your system on his new impact, and he said that he had equal turns. He said it's the first time in all his builds he had the same input for inside and outside. No problem, because he used your system.
Oh yeah, I think I gave him the numbers for my old airplane. I think Paul Walker uses it.
Let's say we lost Brandon.
That's a program I use. That you got to fiddle with that to get it to come out linear.
All right. Any more questions on the geometry stuff? Go ahead, Lynn.
Wondering how many of you guys are using reverse bell cranks as opposed to standard bell cranks? You know what I'm saying? Like
I go
with
reverse.
The push rod. You use reverse?
I use reverse.
Up lines on the front.
Right.
I'm using reverse on my profiles to keep the slime out of the push rod exit hole where possible.
Yeah, I was using reverse when I was flying glow engines. And since I started flying electrics with backwards props, I went back to a normal.
Wow, I just like leading the plane with the front line. That's why I like the reverse bell crank.
I've tried both, and for me, I don't notice much difference.
It's one of those take it on faith kind of things, I think.
I just basically put it in either way. I just grab the thing, and whatever seems more convenient with the setup of the airplane, I just go with it. I don't worry about it.
What do you guys think of those
seen...
self-centering bell cranks?
Yeah.
Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. And I got a couple of museum pieces for you.
Yeah, they're no good.
Stuart, you had a question, Stuart, or a comment? Oh, you got to unmute yourself, Stuart.
When you're talking about being reversed, are you talking about just flipping the bell crank on which side it's on?
Yeah, so the push rod would be on one side, or the push rod would be on the other side.
Okay, so either the push rod's on the inside or the outside of the bell crank.
Right.
Standard setup is with the push rod on the outside, further away from you. Reverse is with the push rod on the inside, closer to you, if you flip the bell crank over.
Oh, okay.
With the push rod on the same side of the bell crank as the lead outs, essentially.
Yes.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
The self-centering concoction there, Denny.
Self-centering with the front lead out, front line up.
No, thanks.
It's kind of funny when you first showed me Traxxer's bell crank. That's what I thought you were doing, because you could do it with that piece.
If you have the front line up, it puts more tension on the front line. What, yaws it to the left when you pull in the front. So therefore, if you make that move the elevator up, it kind of counteracts the gyroscopic effect on a normal rotation motor. But that's where that notion comes from. It's okay, probably.
Yeah, the concept was originated by Al Rabe and his ideas on trying to counteract torque and precession and everything like that.
Precession.
And it was one of those things. It's just like Len says, you could fly them back to back. Be hard pressed to say, oh my God, what a difference. But it's one of those things that you take it on faith. It's like something like, washing your hands before you eat. I mean, does it really, is that going to guarantee that you never get sick? Probably not, but it's probably a good idea, right? So
yeah, I saw a difference.
Right.
I'm sorry, you did tell?
I saw a difference. It's kind of a long story.
Okay.
It's kind of like low high wing on full-size airplanes, where people will swear by one or the other, flying about equal time between them. I don't find much difference. There's slight advantages to both.
Remember Fancer's old round bell cranks? I have one of those, but I've never put it in anything. I'm planning to, but I never have.
Is that one of the ones that was did you make it off of Fancher's plans, or there was somebody who was
I bought it from him. I bought it at the Nats.
Okay.
Is that the round?
I'd like to see that sometime.
Yeah, it's 4-inch round, and it's all.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Kind of material
We were talking about that the other night, and we kind of came to the conclusion that it's great for a scale plane or something where your lead outs are exiting the fuselage and fully visible, so you don't have that big gash to get the clearance.
I don't know. I've put it in 2 or 3 airplanes and played with it. I've never mounted it in an airplane. Mike's got one of those bell cranks I was talking about. That yeah, that's one of those metal ones. But the round one, when I hook up the controls and try to see how it worked, and then transfer it back to a standard bell crank, I never could see where the advantage was. So I always put a standard crank in it.
I think, Phil, the advantage. We'll wait for Mike here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're
Phil,
right on target.
Phil said something about it. I have one in the package. I think it was from Morris. I just got off the phone with Tom Luciano, and I heard you guys talking about him. I thought I had one up in the box there, so I'm just gonna ship this one off to Tommy and see if he wants to use it.
Yeah, well, that's more or less the ones I was showing last week, like this, the homemade ones.
Yeah, that one though is made with phenolic.
Yeah, phenolic with aircraft ply core, and I've got
but that's not the particular one that Tommy was. That's not the Brett Buck style one.
Oh no! This is kind of a variation, a little bit of my own, and stolen from a lot of sources.
So how much does that weigh?
I don't know. I have to tear it apart, Sparky. It'd weigh a little bit less than what you were talking about with the phenolic core, because the aircraft ply weighs a little bit less than phenolic, but it's going to be pretty similar. That's only a 3-inch one.
You want to wait on this one, Sparky?
The
What's that?
4 inches that I do, I hollow them out some more, like you were drawing out on yesterday, I think it was, on your build video.
How about this bell crank?
Oh, I remember that.
This bell crank here, the push rod comes out the top of the wing, so it's straight.
Yep.
Wow.
Got
Yeah.
big old bearings in it. So you put these bearings in your compression spar. This sticks out the top side of the wing,
You gotta raise it up some more for us, Sparky. Thank you.
right in line with the horn, so there's no angle.
Oh man, look at that.
Wow.
Straight across, and that pulls from the center. But this thing weighs a ton. I would like to do something like this in carbon maybe, but this here is.
Hey,
It was
Sparky,
sent-
Mike Lonky had a question for you. Did you get the question from Mike?
No, what's the question, Mike?
Do you want to know what this one weighs? The buck style?
No, I used to use those. I know what they weigh.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, Stuart, did you have a chance to tell us about an update on your shop, about what's going on with your shop or your top flight Nobler that you're building?
Actually, the Nobler here I got, I haven't put this together. I'm not sure. This belly pan goes on the bottom. I guess you glue these in.
Yeah.
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 Okay. I just out of curiosity, or I don't know. I look at this and I look at these walls, they're really thin. Do you guys ever add extra along here to give it a little more stability?
Not on that one because it's not doing anything. The only thing it's holding on is itself.
Oh, okay. So I don't have to worry about any stress or anything.
No.
Not
Take the
really.
covering off the bottom before you glue it to the wing, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I understand
Yeah.
that. Okay. And then
And-
the other thing, just out of curiosity, this is actually held on by the two screws then. So it's actually removable? Like the wing?
It can be.
It can.
I don't know if I've ever seen anybody actually do that. I think most folks just glued it all together. But
Oh, okay.
There was that one guy who had that one airplane that never forget, that 911 plane. Remember that builder, who that guy is? He was a first responder.
was that Beekman?
Yeah, I think he built a Nobler where he reinforced the original construction so that it could be removable, but he didn't make it removable based upon how you receive it in the box, Stuart.
It would be a come apart then.
Well, yeah, because
take
the
apart versus a
RCs
come apart.
use
Yeah.
these bolts, right? A lot of RC planes are with this.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, I did similar with one of my smoothies to make it a 2-part come apart airplane.
If the
But it added a little over an ounce to the airplane doing that though.
if the anchor was good, you could build it take apart with those nylon bolts, but I wouldn't use what they comes in a kit where you get wood screws into some basswood or.
Oh
whatever.
God, no.
The manual says glue it and use the two screws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you use the two, excuse me real quick. You use the two screws and the pins to maintain your alignment because it's basically an ARF, so it's going to be for a beginner. So they want you to get your wing alignment straight so the airplane flies correctly. They're not asking you to use it as a take apart airplane, but more or less to keep the airplane straight.
Yeah, to index it just to make sure it's straight. That's right.
That's my opinion.
It's an
on it.
alignment thing.
Yeah.
Stuart, just be sure when you build it, you somebody already mentioned it. Take all that monocoat where it's folded under and take that off. Yeah, there and on the wing so that you glue wood
Yeah, I
to
know I
wood.
gotta cut it off because it won't glue to it.
Be careful.
Wood to wood joints only.
Be
And
careful when you cut them.
You can take some more wood and put a joint like you saw that double vat. Put some in there. I did that on mine.
Yeah,
And,
I didn't know. I always looked at this and I thought this is pretty thin, and then I thought maybe adding a little bit of balsa along
Yeah.
here.
Oh yeah, you can do that. Sure.
I would do
use
that.
quarter-
I would do
Yeah,
that, and that way you don't have to worry about the monocoat on the fuselage.
Oh, okay.
That's true. That's
That's
true.
what I
You
was
could skip
doing.
that. I used quarter triangle on mine, and
Yeah,
it's
right.
held up
Exactly.
fine.
Exactly. Do
Just
it
take
like
it,
Denny
cut
did.
it. You know how to.
Do
You're
what
a
Denny
woodworker.
did.
You know how to cut it where it'll relieve and bend around the corner. So just cut the reliefs in it with your X-Acto knife bend it around there and make it fit.
And make sure that you don't slice your wood if you use the X-Acto knife to remove the monocoat. If you end up removing monocoat, you got to be real careful about that.
When you get it all together, use clear silicone as fillets.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That'll seal the fuselage to the wing. I mean, to make it twice as strong, but it won't let any fuel get in there.
There you go.
But that's one of the places
Good
less
idea.
is more. Use
That's
just
good
as
idea.
little as you can use and get a good seal.
Yeah, because this is pretty thin the way it is. It doesn't look like it's
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
not that
Take
great.
some CA and go around and hit all the glue joints you can hit, because that's put together with a hot glue gun.
Yeah, I
It
was
sure
thinking
is.
of doing that too, because I've done that before with RCR.
And they
And
will
Jeff,
come
to
apart.
get underneath your landing gear mount and reinforce that too.
Stuart, are you going to do anything about your motor mounts?
Have I done it? They're already in there. Are these?
No, I know, but are you going to do anything to back them, to beef them up and help them out? Because those are, from my experience, and I've cracked a set of them, and the set that I've cracked are even beefed up, but they're very brittle. They're very
Those are
brittle.
tuning forks on them.
If you can help it, put some, I don't know
Triangles.
what you call it, but put some blocks on the top and some triangles under the bottom towards the firewall to.
I could do that here.
Yeah, kind of.
Triangular right there. Yeah.
You can even build a
gusset.
Yeah, put a
You could
gusset in there.
also do a little bit like a crutch construction.
See you guys
If you
later.
do, like,
Hey,
1/8
thank you,
inch
Sparky. See ya.
Take care, Sparky.
Take care, Spark.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Nice,
I gotta go.
Sparky.
Sparky, before you go, you wondered about the weight of this. With lead outs and the all the pivots installed and everything, it's 0.8 ounces without lightning holes added.
Wow.
All right.
So I was
Gang,
gonna
I'll
ask-
see you Monday. Y'all have a great weekend.
All right. Thank you, Phil.
Yeah, Phil.
Go ahead, Stuart.
Yeah, I was thinking just maybe adding a little bit more in here too, maybe another triangular piece, just to beef that up a bit. I'll see. I'll figure that out when I get to it.
Actually, Stuart, back in that area, rather than just a triangular piece, why don't you make it? I did it on my SV11. Why don't you make it kind of like a preform crutch assembly, and take 1/4 inch balsa or something across the grain and fit it into the
Between the motor mounts.
between the
Yeah.
motor mount
Yeah.
from the fire.
Yeah. With the grain going across. Yeah.
Yeah, and well, that too, because the tank goes in there, right? So it's good. I'll have that base there for the tank.
Yeah, that'll
You'll have a
seal the-
perfectly flat floor then, right at the height of the motor mounts. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So,
That's easy to do. I did it on my 11s.
I wanted to Dennis know that he's back on as part owner of the machine here. I found the tank.
Oh, good.
It
Good.
was a 4, wasn't it?
Yeah, yep.
That was my main concern, is I
Well,
didn't
that's all,
remember
I
sending
guess.
you a 6.
Yeah, that's good, and it fits. So I knew it was around. I just couldn't remember where I put it. That's
I forget what engine you're running in that thing, Stuart.
I think I'm going to run a FP 40.
Hey, Gary. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming in, Gary. You
Yeah.
made it. You did it.
Finally made it. I'm about to get a new computer, I think.
Hi, Gary.
Hi.
Hey, Gary.
Hello,
I got an
everybody.
FP 40.
Oh, that's going to be lots of jam for that sucker. It's going to fly well.
Should be good.
Yeah.
What is that? Lots of power.
Oh, it's an FP 40.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's going to pull it like a freight train.
Yeah, I have.
Are you going to put a standard Venturi on that, or just wire it open?
Oh no, I'm going to change this over and put a RSM needle valve. So
That's going to be a sweet package.
yeah, it'll be nice. For me, it's just having an extra, I call it crash protection, you know, having an extra one around. So it'll be nice. So,
Yes.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Should go good. It should go well.
So Gary, I don't know if you heard, but I got your calendar on Tuesday, and the guys just love it. I took it to our old guys club breakfast meeting this morning, and they were just drooling over it. And some of them, it was kicking in memories from years gone by with the faces. So thanks for the extra copy, Paul. He really appreciated that.
I have mine too, Gary. Thanks.
All right, so we have John Miller. Is John Miller still with us?
Yeah.
Hey, John. All right, you have your moment in the sun. And Mike Lonke after John Miller.
Yeah.
All
Hi,
right.
Mike.
Sorry,
I haven't seen you for a while.
How y'all doing? Am I coming through okay?
Yeah, you coming through okay right now?
Good, good. I have a question. I've been working on the computer, doing a few things plan-wise. In the middle of setting up a lofting for a set of ribs, and I tremble a lot. I don't know what. Anyway, all of a sudden, I wound up my drafting program, draft site. This Denny will probably relate to this. The draft site all of a sudden went to minimize and went down to the lower right-hand corner and stuck there. I can't get it out of there where I can get to work on it. Anybody got any ideas?
How about Zoom Fit?
Where's that at? Zoom Fit.
Let's see, as I recall, you're on the screen, right click. You should see something like a Zoom. You see the word Zoom?
I don't see it. Let's see.
Should be a command with a right click should open up a
I'll
command.
play with
window.
it after this.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Well, that answered that question. Been having fun.
All else, they'll save it without or close it without saving it, and then you should be able to open it up right back to where it was.
John, usually those commands are on the view.
Hmm?
You have a view tab over there. Usually you see you zoom over there.
I'll see you later, guys.
All right.
All right. Hey, thanks, Stuart, for coming
Take
in.
care.
See you, Stuart.
Take care, Stuart.
Well, that's good. That's some things I hadn't considered. I appreciate it. And other than that, I haven't done a whole lot. I've just been doing a lot of digital work. I build my airplanes in the not online. What do you call it?
Virtual. You're building your planes virtually.
Yeah.
Virtually. There you go.
Are
Very
you
cool.
did you get your files cleaned up like you were talking about?
I did, and I found a few that I thought I'd lost.
Oh, that's good.
Oh.
Yeah, it only took me like 3 weeks.
Well,
I'm gonna turn off or mute my mic. My dog is barking at me.
Oh, that's your dog? I didn't know you had any dogs. I thought you had cats.
all right. Put it in context. Is that an old dog or a new dog? Oh, I'm sorry, wrong person.
3-dog night.
Hey,
That's
Tryan. Hey, what's going on with you, Tryan?
Much. I'm just I'm starting to work on my planes for this year. And since I decided to do that change to the new release system, actually basically the good old VN wax. So I'm just repolishing everything because you have to physically remove the semi-permanent release system that I had originally. So,
You know,
yeah,
I was on YouTube after the last show, and I had a recommended view come up, and it was the video where Wendy Arnowski and a whole bunch of guys, Kent Tyser and other people, I guess they're repairing your plane at the Nats. It was
that was my first Nats.
Yeah, and you look young. You're a young guy there, very young guy.
God, yeah.
And I when I came across it, I said, man, I should show this during some show, just that part so everybody can see when you was young, and the helpfulness at the Nats. And that was that plane. I'm trying to remember what it was. It wasn't the SV-11. It was something
It
else.
was, yeah, no, it was an SV-12 that I was trying to refinish, and something happened to it. I was sitting outside in a wind, and it got banged against the tree, and I ended up just cleaning it up and putting monocoat on it, and I ran with it like that to the Nats. That was my first Nats in '96, and the first time when Brodak was offering intermediate at the Nats, and I won it.
Yes, I was going to
Intermediate.
say that next. Yeah, you won the intermediate. I mean, you won the intermediate at the Nats. That was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
And I was even on top 10 in advance that year.
So you won the intermediate, and then they had you fly in advance because you won intermediate, right? And how'd you do in advance?
Top 10.
Top 10. That's pretty damn good. Pretty damn good.
For your first time?
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah. You should shoot for that, Steven.
Oh, that's a natural. That's a natural right there.
Yeah. You should definitely shoot for that, Steven.
Man.
See, I somehow I lost track of somebody. Where'd that person go? I guess they left. Oh, Lynn
What
Burrell,
about
where you at? There you are, Lynn.
Donkey?
Lynn, how you
Mike?
doing, Lynn? No, John, Mike said he was just he's okay. Go ahead, Lynn. What you been up to? I know you've been building, or you've been building the Twisterette.
Wow. Well, I was a bad boy this week. I pulled another kit out and started building another one. So I've got four on the table now, and none
Is
of them
Naomi still there? Is she still living with you?
Oh yeah.
She's gonna leave soon.
So I got 4 airplanes on the table again now, and yeah, I'm just going like crazy right now.
God, you sound worse than me.
I
He's
started
worse than
building
you.
of all things, I started building a warbird. I'm building a Brodak Profile 0. I'm having
All
fun.
right.
It's all good.
Oh, nice. I had a guy flying today. We had 6 people today out here in sunny Southern California. 6 people.
Right.
And
Oh,
one of the
that's
guys
awesome.
was flying a Brodak 0.
All right. How was it
That's
flying? Okay.
Steve Maganelli. So we had
Okay.
Carl Reed, who you guys seen. Carl was there. Myself, Stuart Mossman, Steve Maganelli, Scott Harris, and Joe Mata. 6 of us out there, and we was in. It was t-shirt weather.
Rub it in,
I'm
Charles.
wearing a sweater.
Now
You
rub
guys-
it in, Charles.
I'm wearing a
You
sweater
guys
to make you
suck.
guys feel good. You know, it really
You guys
isn't
suck.
that cold out here. But I just thought I would wear the sweater, have the AC on.
Well,
Hey,
we
Len.
got t-shirt weather too, Charles, but we just have to put a parka on over top of it.
Oh, okay, all right.
And then you
Hey,
need
Len,
snow-
you got to be careful with that airplane, that
you need
military
snow
airplane,
skis.
because
Why is that?
well, you'll get 0 appearance points.
Oh yeah, that's about right. too.
Very good. That's a good comeback. I
That's
like
why
that.
I built the Mauler.
I like that. I like that.
I built the Profile Mauler, all right, from the same series. So
Oh, very cool.
yeah.
So we got that,
How
and
does
then
it fly? Fly
say it
good?
again. I'm sorry. Say it again, Steven.
How does it fly?
Oh, the which one? The 0?
The Mauler.
I haven't finished it yet. I got it all framed up and ready to cover. It's been like that for 5 years. So
Holy smokes. Is it the
So
big
it
Mauler
flies
or the small
perfectly.
one?
Yeah,
The
flies
profile.
perfectly.
Danny,
yeah, the
it flies
Brodak Profile
perfectly.
Warbirds all fly. They fly great. They're really, really nice flying
They
airplanes.
do. I agree.
It plane
agree.
presents so well in the air too. It looks really nice.
Yeah, it looks like something, but it's just anybody. The airplanes really serve their purpose. They look like airplanes and they really, really deliver. They're not hard to build or anything like that. Everything's straightforward on it. It's just a really nice package. So
Danny,
hope
you
they
can
only
see your
build
motor
'em.
flies
Go ahead.
perfectly. 0 crash damage.
I have a Mauler prototype that Mr. Wright gave to me about a year and a half or 2 years ago or so. It needs some skin work done and needs a motor mount, needs some epoxy in it because someone drilled the hole off to the side and kind of jimmied it up a little bit. But it's I guess it's a prototype and it's like a 60 size. It's like a 60 size Mauler.
Wow.
That
I
ain't
think,
the one
yeah.
I got. So
No, I think it's set up for a 46 or like a 51, like a Tiger
Okay.
51 or a Tiger
Wow.
46.
This is already built?
Oh yeah, it's a prototype that Mr. Wright had, and he brought it down to the field one day to give to Muggleston, so Muggleston would have a test stand for his engines to run. And Muggleston didn't like it because the motor mount was messed up. You know, it's beefed up on it, so it the motor would only hold 3 screws unless you fix the motor mount on it. You know, you're gonna fix the maple on it. You can take some toothpicks and epoxy some toothpicks in there, you know, and then brush some epoxy over it and then re-drill it if you want, or you know, something silly.
Mm.
I'm sure there's a way to, you know, to mount an engine in there and correct it, but it's a rather unique because I guess it's not a kitted plane, it's a prototype, so it's a big one. Like I said, it's big. It's like a 60 size.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's the same airplane you have that you're talking about, the Mauler, but it's not the one that they have on the website.
Yeah, the ones that the Brodak Warbird series are all, you know, got about a half dozen of them. They're all basically they were built off of modified nobler wings. They took out rib number 1 apparently and just kind of brought it together. So the wing area is down around 480 squares. Might
I
be as
see.
low as 460 depending on the wingtip shape they put on it, but they're all, and they would fly well with almost anything. I've seen one of the best ones I saw had an LA-25 in it. I've seen them
Really?
with Fox 35s. I've seen them with Brodak 40s. Frank Carlisle had a wonderful one made with a Brodak 40 on it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty unforgiving, you know, on it. Pretty easy to campaign. All right. So
Nice.
but yeah, you put a 51 on it, you'd probably be a little bit overpowered. All right. It might be a little
Yeah.
more.
Just a little bit.
And you
Yeah.
need about 4 ounces of lead in the tail, probably. But
Yeah.
Let me catch
Yeah.
up on the chat box. Let me see here. Gary Sinclair, I'm glad you made it in. Thank God for that. And then Marcel Legrand says, excuse me, Brent Williams. This is earlier, I think, when we was talking about the bell crank and the position and all that. Brent Williams' take was leverage speed versus resolution. That's I think I'm saying that right. Leverage speed versus resolution. So, and then Marcel Legrand says it doesn't really make any difference. I found. I think he's talking about whether it be the bell crank being reversed or not.
Reverse or forward. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he said he didn't really find it made a significant difference. And this is a new person. I don't think I've seen this person before. His handle is Go For It Painting. Gave us a hello. Well, hello, Go For It Painting. Hope you're enjoying the show. We learning some stuff. Stick around and ask questions. If you're interested in flying model airplanes, let us know and let us know how we can help you. That'd be great. And then Caffeine, can you drive and talk at the same time?
Yeah, sure, definitely.
So what you been up to, Caffeine?
Yeah, I just finished practice. I was flying my CBEC. Like I had like 4 or 5 flights, but somehow I finally solved the problem that I had, which was erratic ground RPM up and down during the needle setting on the ground, which made me hard to
Oh, he
must have hit a
looks
stoplight.
like Caffeine just robbed a bank.
I'm curious what the solution was, what he fixed his problem. So hopefully he can come back and tell us all about it.
Charles, with that one comment there on the chat,
release RPM.
Oh, sorry.
Hang on, he's back now.
All right, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
All right,
It's not working.
Continue. And then yeah, I did everything I've been told to fix that problem. It fixed, but somehow the RPM is down by 1500 RPM on the ground. But you know, it still flew. The engine runs steady all the time throughout the flight. But somehow, even though I had like 1500 lower RPM, but the tension, it was much tension that I had before, and it made me hard to do the stunt, to do the figure eight, to do the inside loop, because somehow the plane was flying faster. I don't know, lower RPM number, but more tension and faster. What could be the problem here?
I don't know. Did you change your prop? Maybe you have a different pitch
No,
prop.
no, everything is the same.
I don't know. That's a new one on me. Steven, go ahead, Steven.
Was the wind blowing?
Yeah, it was really windy.
Well, there you go. That's your answer right there. The wind was blowing. When the wind blows and it's blowing the right speed, the airplane will act like a wild coyote on the end of the strings when you fly it, especially when you stunt it.
Ah, okay.
And
Yeah.
if you're having poor needle setting problems and stuff, man, I ran into that when I went to Vancouver last summer. Last spring. I took along back fuel. I didn't know it. And I just equated it to the difference in elevation, sea level versus 2,300 feet where I am. I just equated it to that, and I couldn't get an engine run worth a damn. And so I kind of wasted a couple of $1,000 really going out to fly there. And all it was a bad jug of fuel.
Oh, damn. Oh, man.
Your engine, regardless of where you go, your engine and your glow plug, as long as they're good and your fuel is good, it should run the same thing, the same way every time, unless there's a rock in your needle valve.
Yeah, but I didn't have an option because I only brought along the one jug of fuel. That's what I figured I needed. And so I just
a bad batch of fuel
my head on
day,
that,
man.
Yeah, but you know what? It didn't really matter because I had a hell of a good time with a lot of good friends.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I had a buddy when I first started flying and got back into it. I had a buddy after I burned my first couple gallons of fuel from the store. I thought, oh, I'll have dude make me a gallon. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll save a few bucks or whatever. Well, it turned out he makes me a gallon of fuel, and it cost me, I think, $2 more. And it ended up being some shit for whatever the reason was. You know, old caster sitting in his garage, methanol that got water in it or moisture or whatever.
Yeah,
You put a tank of fuel in the twister, bro, and it wouldn't start up. But you take
it was real funny though. I went off to Manitoba a couple of months later, 6 weeks later, and about similar elevation to here, slightly lower, and we're about 2,300. There it's about 2,000 feet.
Yeah.
And I was running the same fuel, and my LA40 and my RST ran okay. It wasn't fantastic, it was okay. But my Brodak 25 wouldn't run worth a damn. I only did one flight, and it was kind of windy conditions. I mean, it was just terrible. Just flew it out and landed it. But that's after that I figured out the bad gas. But this bad fuel wouldn't run at all, really, at 100 feet elevation, and at 2,000 feet it kind of ran, but not great.
Well, what I have to end up doing with this fuel, and I still have the gallon on my floor room at home. I've had it for 3 years, and what I used of it, I would have to put in my fuel tank, and I would have to take an ounce of fuel out of it, and then I would have to take an ounce of store-bought fuel and add it to the mixed fuel that I got from him. And then with an ounce of store-bought fuel, the airplane would start, and then it would run. But otherwise, you couldn't start the son of a bitch. You sit there all day long, sweat to death, till your battery was dead.
Yeah,
and
I know.
Didn't have enough nitro in it. The nitro just wouldn't kick.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going with trying to some ways to salvage a gallon of fuel because it's just about $40 a gallon now.
Yeah. You need to get a quart or a pint of store-bought stuff and pour it in there.
Well, this is all store-bought, but I have about 20 or 30 gallons of store-bought stuff, so I might just try mixing a bit into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys, I'm going to close the live stream, but I want to quote Furmaster 212. They're a member of our YouTube channel. Thank you so much, Furmaster 212, for your support. Appreciate that. It says, great show, fellas. Was spicy one. Good night, all. Big
Actually,
life given.
Charles, before we close, can I show a show and tell that might be a benefit to the guys watching?
Yeah, if it's a benefit, sure, absolutely.
Just to be cheap. When you're pouring out paint or whatever, and not want to have that big mess around the tip of the gallon, or especially when you're mixing super high priced epoxies doing layups and stuff, go out to your local discount store for, supermarket or something.
Yeah.
And just buy a variety of these stainless steel scoops. And just dip it in, and you can carefully measure out onto your scale the appropriate amount. And there's almost zero mass and almost zero waste.
Wow, that's
go and like $2 a spatula here and or a scoop, and save yourself a crap load of aggravation on cleanup and cost of materials.
Yes, that's really neat. Now, normally my fuel is in the jug, so I'm wondering what you're.
Well, no, I'm not talking about fuel. I'm talking about paint when you're trying to pour it out into your spray gun, into your filter for your spray gun. When you're pouring out the epoxy resins, you've got a 1-to-1, a 2-to-1, a 3-to-1 mix or whatever per weight.
Yeah.
You can just carefully dribble it out with a.
I like the idea.
Steel measuring cups.
I like that.
That's what it is basically, and you can just adjust it, and when you hit the weight, you just twist your wrist and done. And being stainless steel, super easy to clean up. Just use lacquer thinner, and they cost nothing at the wholesale food stores and stuff.
Nice.
Like you can see, I just bought them in every size you can get.
Good information.
Hey, that's my tip. That's my cheap guy tip of the week for all the listeners.
Very good. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in for the show. And today's Friday, so hopefully you have a chance to do some work in your shop, and we're flying and come back Monday and tell us all about it. So until then,
I'll tell you about me putting on my dress tomorrow.
Oh,
I go drag tomorrow. It's Robbie Burns Day. I'm putting on my kilt.
Okay. You had me speechless for a second.
I'll be swinging a sword and all kinds of stuff.
All right. Okay. Now I'm with you.
Put your dress on and go fly control line.
Not at 25 below, buddy.
Yeah. All right, guys. Hey, with that being said, hey, fair winds, tight lines. Thank you for tuning in to Stunt Hangar